So, I seen an interesting post about if players hate invaders. Now you can imagine some of the responses to this were a little unhinged, but I actually kind of found this to be pretty wholesome. So let's go through the post real quick. Do players hate invaders? Hello, Tarnished. I've been playing Elden Ring since release and played Dark Souls 3 before that, but only recently have I started to dip my toes into PvP. I'm still really bad at it, but won my first invasion yesterday. 2v1, but they took turns fighting me. That's still good. That's still like you're doing 2 duels and you got a little bit of a streak going. That's still good. That's still good. Sadly, that is the only time I fought and wasn't me with a point down or some rude gesture. Wasn't met with a point down. So he's saying that this is the only time you've ever had a PvP battle where where the host or the phantom didn't point him down or something. I understand I'm invading and I'm not expecting a fair fight, but regardless of if it's 1, 2, or 3 players fighting me at once, it always results in the same degrading gestures when I inevitably lose. Yeah. I always this part always cracks me up. Because it's like, so even if you don't even put up a fight, like let's say you just run in there and just like they just one shot you or something, they're still going to like teabag and point down. So you can't let it get to you. But yeah. For the most part, I never got to experience the toxicity of the Souls games because I go it alone and I stick to PvE. But I've always heard about how bad mannered some players are. Okay, so first of all, if you beat Elden Ring by yourself and you didn't need like any cooperation or anything, that's a really good start for PvP, by the way. Some of those crazy boss moves that they just like spam and then, you know, like never-ending combos, that's great practice for PvP. Some questions I have for the general community are, why is everyone so mean? Why do you not play PvP, or why do you? Lastly, do you like Elden Ring invasions? So, all right, I'm gonna answer the questions here real quick. Why is everyone so mean? So, I'll tell you what. I'll give my experience as far as like if I get toxic in this game. I try my best not to, and for the most part, I don't. However, I do have a lot of experience with invading, so my ability to like hold back isn't great, and I always expect hosts to be mean or essentially do whatever it takes to get an advantage. So it's kind of hard to adjust your mindset from host to host. So I always assume the worst, essentially. I wouldn't call that being mean on my end, though. Interesting. I did, ironically, I did, or maybe unironically, I did post a video today where I dragon breathed some host, but like he was on the ladder. But the thing was, he had a rune arc on, and he still had phantoms, probably had a blue hunter. Let's say I don't dragon breath him, and then I just go on with this huge 2v1, turns into a 3v1, and they already have a great rune. So it's kind of like, you know, there's not really a wrong play there. I like 3v1s and 2v1s as much as the next guy, but at the same time, I don't want to give them any more an advantage for whatever reason. So it's less about being mean and more about, I don't know, more about mercy, I guess. I don't like, you know, there's only so many people I want to teabag or point down to. It's very, very rare. Most of the times, if it's a good fight, it's a good fight. I'm good on it. Like, really. Why do you not play PvP? That does not apply to me. And why do you? Why do I play PvP, specifically invasions? I feel like it's always like a, invasions feel like, I don't know. There's just something special about them. They're unique. Every situation can be different, but at the same time, like the instincts you build up always apply. So I don't know. It just gives you so much room to approach, basically. Like in invasions, you can literally do whatever you want. It's not even just about winning. I know invasions, I feel like, are best described as an experience. So you don't want to like always go super hard. Sometimes I do my best to just like mess around and stuff, but at the same time, again, blues and stuff like that can ruin the fun. So why do I play PvP and invasion specifically? Giant battles, unique battles. There's a lot of different builds you can bring. I did a whole invasion where I didn't bring weapons and I just used my literal fists, and like I do no damage, but just the chaos I'm creating puts the host in a weird position, and it's fun to react to that, basically. Lastly, do you like Elden Ring invasions? Yes. However, it is something that has to grow on you. For sure. For sure. If you go from Dark Souls 3 to Elden Ring, you're going to be a little bit, like, overwhelmed, but you'll get used to it. As long as you don't hold back. Again, why is everyone so mean? Well, a lot of times, dude, those hosts, they'll throw 15 fireballs at you, and, you know, they do not care. So, keep that in mind. But yeah, interesting. Now, let's go through the surely sane comments under this post. I've got close to 5k hours in the game, mostly invading. People point down or throw poo pots for... Oh, sorry. I've got close to 5k hours in the game, mostly invading. People point down or throw poo pots for no reason. Elden Ring... we are invading. But yeah. Elden Ring brought in the mainstream crowd and is very handholdy compared to previous titles. Now, I want to call it... They still don't, like, tell you... Well, you know what they do with the graces. They do kind of tell you where to go. I wouldn't... Okay. It can be handholdy, for sure. But it's more like, it's not like automatic handholdy. You basically have the options to Great Rune, you know, blues and all that. So, I mean, it has easy mode. Yeah. This is the first Dark Souls game with easy mode. Yeah. That makes sense. Invaders ruin their power fantasy when they win. I don't know if I would call it power fantasy. But yeah, it's like, nah, he's onto something. It's like players expect them to just, if they're playing easy mode, players expect to just not die. And that's kind of like not really the point of the game. Again, man, Elden Ring can be incredibly... Look, I think Elden Ring is the best Souls game, but there are definitely moments in it where Elden Ring can be incredibly boring because it's too easy. So, once you join their world and difficulty spike it, yeah, that's where the poo pots and point downs start coming, because it's like, oh god, you made their experience harder. Ugh. It's casuals. It's casuals who like get mad at invaders, basically. And again, we should not build the game off of that. This is Dark Souls. The more we start catering to casuals, the less it becomes Dark Souls in like From Software's intended vision. However, I can definitely see where invasions are going to get a bad reputation because of the mainstream crowd just being entitled. It's the truth. Don't take wins or losses personally. Yes, yeah, that's good. That's definitely true. Go in there, have fun, do what you can, have a great fight. If they take it personal because you're engaging with a mechanic that's intended, then they are being entitled, and that's just all there is to it. I'm sorry if you know what. There's no one I have to say I'm sorry to here, because we've been down this conversation. Most of the people in this channel listening to this video understand these points. Don't take point downs or pots personally. Just embrace the chaos and have fun with it. Yes. Now, this comment is downvoted by 1, so that's not too bad, to be honest. I'll give it a little upvote. This is the most controversial comment, by the way, and it's like I guess the only thing that that can be controversial is ruin their power fantasy. It's less about the power fantasy and the fact that they won an easy game out of a hard game. So there's definitely a bit of entitlement. Let's see the response to this real quick. It's not that deep. Most people who don't like it just want to play with their friends and don't want to deal with invasions, but are forced to. Go play a different game. Go play a different game. Go play a different game. Forced to is insane. Oh my god. And it has 10 upvotes, by the way. No, dude, you're not forced into PvP at all. You want to play with your friends in a game that does not intend it that way. So maybe find a different game. You entitled casual, like, oh my god, like this thing. See, this is why it gets like invaders and PvPers a little bit like spicy, is because it's like, dude, you're bringing your entitled attitude into this game and then expecting us to play around it when we've been here forever, like since the beginning. Invaders have been here. Sorry, this is not your game. Especially because a lot of the people who do it just no life the crap out of this game, are just there to live their own power fantasy side quests at the expense of, oh, okay, so now the power fantasy for whatever reason applies to us. Look, I wouldn't get super hyped out of defeating ganks if they weren't there, but a 3v1, if you win that, yeah, there's definitely a little bit of a rush. It's not really a power fantasy, it's more like a, holy crap, how did I pull that off? Or, wow, that was a tough fight, that was fun. Oh my god, you see the casual biasness here. But regardless, that's simply not what they are. Regardless, that's simply why they are not there, or that's simply not why they are there. Sorry. What are you talking about? Whatever. Elden Ring changing how invasions happen to have nothing to do with it being more handhold. Bro, it has nothing to do with the invasions. The invasion mechanic is not part of the handholding thing. It's the great runes, it's the blues. And again, I was like, I call it easy mode. I don't really think it's handholdy, but it is easy mode. Fact is, most people who play these games couldn't give two craps about multiplayer, and they took, bro, you literally see. This is the hypocrisy. This is it. This is the hypocrisy right here. This is why we don't listen to players like this who don't know what they're doing. I will never get spicy about Armor Core, because most of that is just like theorizing. But this post, most people just want to play with their friends. Okay. Most people don't care about multiplayer. Oh, so you're contradicting yourself in the same comment that has 10 upvotes. Hello? Hello? Where am I? Insane. Never listen to these people. They do not know what they're talking about. If the player gets an ally, the game gets an ally. It's fair whether they like it or not, and it's true. If they don't like it, then they don't really understand the ethos of Elden Ring, let alone From Software games, and it may not be the game for them. Agreed. It's literally like agreed. Holy crap. Suck it up and enjoy the ensuing chaos. I'm sure collecting our dropped runes isn't new to any of us. I enjoy a good death every once in a while. Yeah, this is downvoted by 3. Holy crap. All right, let's that's insane. This is such a reasonable take. This is reasonable takes. This is like, and they're getting downvoted because, oh no, the host doesn't have an easy game. Like, oh my god, dude, this definitely gets me spicy. My friends and I have discussed this extensively because Elden Ring is the first FromSoft game for some of us, myself included. While others have been fans of the genre for years, as others in this thread have pointed out, it does suck to get invaded when you're just trying to play through the game with friends. Okay, that's fine. They're just saying it's tedious. Fair enough. So so is summoning a player, you know what I mean? Especially when you're inexperienced and or can only play for a few hours after work. So, oh my god, they did not. Look, dude, you're not going to gain any more experience or get any better at this game, or even, frankly, understand what you're doing, is when you're getting carried. That's why it's frustrating, because your skill level just isn't there yet. I mean, it's true, though. Ultimately, the consensus me and my friends reached is that while we can accept that invading will probably always be part of the game from Software, hopefully, it's frustrating that you can't opt out. You can opt out. You actually can opt out of invasions. Actually, it's kind of crazy. Even though they're called invasions, it's almost like you need to do something specific just to get them into your game. So if anything, it's not about opting out, it's the fact that you're opting into invasions. Some little self-reflection could go a long way. That'll probably save you some frustration here, because the labels you're using makes it seem like you're a victim. So then you're acting like one. And then instead of being like, oh, that wasn't my responsibility, I can do something to change that, you're pointing your finger at things that aren't really your responsibility to change, and nobody's asking you to change them. So, I don't know. Maybe Maybe just figure that out on your own. Maybe that's a you problem. Oh, Jesus, dude. And before, then don't play co-op. Oh, hey, that's me. I'm just trying to have fun with my friends as we experience this massive and incredible game together. Great. That's the thing, though. Elden Ring isn't intended to be like that. Like, what? You can summon help. That's cool. But you're going to have to play within the game's rules on that. And before, then don't play co-op. I'm just trying to absolutely warp the intended gameplay mechanics and intention of the devs because I want to play with my friends. It's difficult enough to stay alive without some sweaty popping up every 5 minutes to send me back half an hour of playtime. See, that's the thing, though. You're absolutely not losing playtime. You still played that time. Whatever you learned in that half hour that you're accusing you were sent back on, that sticks with you. That knowledge you gained, you still have. So it is your responsibility to work around that. This, again, self-reflection. I don't know what that YMMV is supposed to be. I think it's an abbreviation for something. But I've encountered far more Smurfs and toxic invaders than honorable duelists. Now, this part I will concede a little bit to, since I was mentioning in this video that a lot of times invaders we come out pretty hot because we had the experience of knowing that not every host is, oh, please leave my game. Most of the time, hosts are doing just as much toxic stuff as we are. So, like, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. There's not, like, you can say things like building up madness and stuff is toxic, but it feels toxic because of phantom buildup. If you could dodge it, it would be fine. That's a little bit off topic, though, to be honest. But yeah, nothing more to say on this. Get good. Then don't play co-op. Oh my god. It is literally... Holy crap, dude. I see... also, I'm not gonna focus on it, but I do see underneath it, it says said only by people who don't have friends. Man, I have friends! and they go through the game on their own because they like their personalized experience. They want to, like, understand what they're doing before they ask, for help. Pretty much everyone I've played with is like that. So, I don't know what to tell you. The only players I've seen who absolutely need a phantom are players who weren't really interested in playing a hard game to begin with. So it's not really, then don't play co-op. It's more like, then don't play Dark Souls. Don't play a hard game if you just want a casual game. Start from there. Like, that's it. If you want to play a game with your friends, there's plenty of other games like that where you don't have to worry about summoning, where there's like, again, we don't have to warp the game around casuals, even though From Software did invite a whole bunch of mainstream players. So not every, you know what? I'll also say this. Not every mainstream player is a casual. Some mainstream players legit got into Elden Ring for the challenge. That is their selling point. These super casual, I just want to play with my friends guys don't understand that wasn't even the selling point of the game. It's said. That's pretty much all that needs to be said.